To install the Daughterboard PCB, we need to remove these 3 nuts. So to do that, we're going to take the Allen wrench that comes with the kit and also a 7mm socket. Now that we have the nuts and bolts removed, we're going to take the circuit board and look at the bottom of it, and you'll notice it has 3 standoff connectors here. Those are going to plug into these 3 connectors, so we do need to make sure that they are all plugged in. And when I'm plugging this in, I need to make sure all 3 of those connectors have seated properly, and when I push down on this, notice I'm putting my left hand underneath here. Again, that's to not flex the circuit board as much as possible as I'm plugging this in. And once we have these connectors fully seated, we'll make sure that we're coplanar with the bottom of the circuit board to the top of the fan in these 3 locations there. And then we will reinstall the 3 bolts. As we go to tighten these, we just want them to not be spinning. If you over tighten these bolts, you're going to break the fan housings. Now we need to add the cable that connects from the Daughterboard to LI control. So this cable has different connectors. So you'll notice that on one side, there's a protrusion that sticks out. That's the side that goes over here, like that. Once we have that plugged in, we're going to take a zip tie. We're going to drop it through this hole right here. And we're going to secure this harness in place. This zip tie does not need to be terribly tight. If you tighten it a whole bunch, it's just going to collapse that conduit. And then we'll cut the end off like that. And then we're going to route this up through like that, so that when we reinstall the cover later on after you've installed this, it should fit through like that. And then this will just route along with the MCM harness down to the seat connector when you get to that point during the installation. Now that we have the Daughterboard installed, we have a couple different connections that have changed. So one, the 4x20 cable that used to plug in down there will now plug in on top here, and it's labeled just like before, 5 volts ground, 5 volts is red, just like before. The other thing, if you're using the pack heater, you now have a dedicated connector right here. So instead of plugging in from ground to the GPIO pin, you're going to now just plug that connector in right there. So that's the Daughterboard install. Now that we have the Daughterboard installed, everything else is going to install exactly the same, so just follow the normal instructions.